Okay.
Valentine's version.
Okay. I'd like to call to order the Town of Monroe Board meeting for Monday, March 4th. If we could all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, welcome everyone to the Monday, March 4th meeting. Just so everybody knows, if you could please silence your phones. You have two exits in case of emergency behind you, one to your right, our left. Just a couple of announcements. We are in the process of, we have finalized all the agreements with the solar farm. The town was also able to negotiate a payment to the town in the amount of $45,000, which was something we did at one of our previous meetings. It looks like they're going to be opening the solar farm within the next 2 to 3 weeks, I would say. We're just waiting to get a confirmation back from Mr. Fate, who is actually selling it to a company called Nextera. So Nextera will be operating it. Street lights. With respect to the street lights, I've been speaking with a company that will be, will be giving us a proposal to retrofit all the street lights in the town to LEDs. They met with me about 2 weeks ago, and we're going to be meeting with another company, hopefully within the next month. The other company is from California. This company is from Delaware. This company actually has been vetted by Warwick. Warwick is using them. Michael Sweeten has been very helpful to us over the last 3 years, and I had some conversations with him down at the Association of Towns, and Rick actually had a conversation with the firm that I had met with and got some material, brochures on them. So we're moving along. It's still going to be some time away, but this company guarantees us a positive cash flow when we do the conversion, along with the fact that the actual payback will be less than 5 years. So everybody else has been saying 5 to 7. So with that said, we'll move on to the acceptance of the February 25th, 2019 minutes.
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes.
I'd like to second that. Cologne second.
Cologne second. Any discussion, changes, revisions? No? Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Begin aye.
Okay, so moved. Engineering agreement for the town hall and the court modifications. The one you have another one in front of you.
We have another.
Yes.
And the only difference was correct me if I'm wrong, counsel, but the only difference in that was the expert witness fees. Originally in the contract it was $2,000. Brian and I had spoken to gentlemen up at MHE, and we got that removed, and it's basically at their rate. The only thing that was changed was door to door rather than when they got there. So
I think it's just a 1.20 calculation for the hours. That's within this version.
Oh, okay.
We had discussed a 20% on the hourly rather
Right.
than that fixed fee. So that's what's in the contract.
Okay. All right. So Brian has reviewed it. Everything seems to be in order. It's a standard contract from MHE.
So I'd like to make a motion that we accept the contract with McGooey Hauser Edsel for the professional services for the modifications of the town hall and the court, and for the two motions, then a separate one to have the supervisor sign it.
I'll second both.
Well, I think we should do one at a time. Let's
Yeah.
do one at a time.
One at a
Okay.
time.
So the first one was
To accept the contract.
On the updated version of the
on
contract,
the updated version, okay.
because there's two out there.
Seconded by Councilman McGinn. Any discussion? Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Okay.
And then the second motion would be to have the supervisor authorized to sign the contract.
Second by, all right, go ahead.
I'll second that.
Second
Sure.
as well. Any discussion on that?
None.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Okay, so moved. Consolidation of registrar districts. Mary Ellen's not here. Did she give you any directions on that, Valerie?
Not at this time.
Okay, so, basically what it is, New York State has requested that registrar districts for the filing of death and birth certificates be combined. So we want to discuss and approve a resolution that formally consolidates the town of Monroe and the village of Monroe so that those vital statistics registration district number 3560 are done by the town.
I'll make that motion.
Is that for discussion?
Yeah, well, you want to
You got to
second
second
it
it
for
for
discussion?
discussion.
Yeah. So this is, I assume that the village is on board with this and
Yes, she met with Mayor Dwyer last week. I got into the last half of the meeting, and he was in favor of it.
I have a question. Village of Harriman, are they separate, or are those going to be
she-
separate negotiations?
She was reaching out to Mayor Welly, but at the present time hasn't heard anything.
Okay,
And I think it presents a little bit of an issue because
they're part of
they're
Woodbury.
Yeah.
right. And then I had another question. I believe the fees for these certificates are set by the state, but I just wanted to be sure that the village of Monroe and the town of Monroe, the fees are accepted by both parties.
That would be in the agreement, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be in the
That would be in the
yeah.
agreement.
Yep. Okay, so any other questions? Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
again,
Okay, so
I'll
moved.
second that motion.
Councilman McGinn.
Thank you.
Okay. Dial-a-bus, so we have, Dial-a-bus took a survey to see where folks wanted to go from who could not get rides, to and from to certain specific areas. And the top two were to the county building and the doctors on Hatfield Lane in Goshen, and the other one was the Galleria. So we have an intermunicipal agreement that we have to draw up, which basically just stipulates that we're going from point A to point B in the towns. We're not picking up any of their ridership, and we're going to be then returning from those same locations to probably wherever Dom sees it suitable to pick up from here. It's a 2-year agreement. I'll read it to you quickly. These are both agreements for the town of Goshen and the town of Wallkill. I have spoken to both supervisors. They're on board with it. Goshen's meeting is the 14th, I believe. And Wallkill, Supervisor Diana said he's on board with it. He's just got to present it to his board too. I'm not sure when his meeting is. But it basically states the agreement between the town of Monroe, Municipal Corporation of the State of New York, with offices at 1465 Orange Turnpike and 91 Mine Road, Monroe, New York, and the town of Goshen, with offices at 41 Webster Avenue, Goshen, New York, is entered into a municipal agreement whereby the town of Monroe is granted necessary permission and approval for the Monroe Dial Bus, which operates demand responsive service, and that is open to the public to enter and travel into the town of Goshen with their passengers to certain doctors' offices and the government center. This agreement is valid for a period of 2 years and may be extended or terminated upon mutual agreement of both parties. And then, with respect to Wallkill, The agreement between the Town of Monroe Municipal Corporation and the State of New York with offices 1465 Orange Turnpike and 91 Mine Road, Monroe, New York, and the Town of Walkill with offices at 99 Tower Drive, Middletown, New York, is entered into an intermunicipal agreement whereby the Town of Monroe is granted necessary permission and approval for the Monroe Dial-A-Bus, which operates demand responsive service, and that is open to the public to enter and travel into the Town of Walkill with their passengers to certain shopping centers and doctor's offices. This agreement is valid for a period of 2 years and may be extended or terminated upon mutual agreement of both parties. And it's basically a simple agreement.
Question.
Yes.
Now, is this on demand, or is this going to be certain days during the week, or?
Right now, he's going to schedule it for certain days of the week.
Okay.
He's trying to find out which is better for the seniors because
Right.
they're primarily the passengers, so that they can actually schedule their doctor's appointments at the start on those specific days.
Outstanding. Good.
So,
Quick question, is there any additional charge for this?
no, everything that's refunded to us federally is given based on mileage.
What
And-
about for the customers?
And the customers, we get those refunds. It's $1.
Oh, great.
It's $1 no matter where you go. So, when you make your appointments for the barber, Mike, if you want, I can hook you up.
So, I go right here in Monroe.
It doesn't
Right
matter.
in Monroe, there was
15 minutes.
supervisor.
Yeah, you sure you're not going to the government center for that?
No, absolutely not.
I'm good on the barber for a while.
Yeah. Sal, I guess that excludes you.
All right. So, with that said, do we have a motion to authorize myself to sign those intermunicipal agreements with the town of Goshen and the town of Walkill?
I'll make that motion.
Should it be two separate resolutions again?
Because it's two separate towns.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So one
So-
for,
So the first one, let's make it for Goshen.
all right, I'll second that one for Goshen if you may.
I'll make the motion for Goshen.
And I'll
Okay.
second.
Any other discussion? Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye?
Scancarello, aye.
Again,
Okay. And,
I'll make a
Walkill.
motion that we accept the Walkill contract as well.
okay, second?
I'll second.
Okay, any other discussion? Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye?
Scancarello, aye.
again,
Okay, so moved. Okay. Next item is to set a public hearing date for the new Board of Ethics bylaws, which you have had emailed to you today. It was my error in not attaching it last week.
I'm sorry.
But of course, Jen caught it, as she does a lot, and she got it to you.
Okay.
So we'd like to set the public hearing date for March 18th at 7 p.m.
I'll make, I'd like to make that motion. I went through it, it's very extensive. It covers a lot of different issues, I think, that would be of concern to any one of us, so, especially the people of this town.
I'll second.
Second, any other discussion? Real quick, the Board of Ethics wanted to, they're going to try to get the entire board here, and we're just going to set up tables here so that we can, interact, go back and forth with any aspects that we might have regarding it.
Okay.
It was a long process for them, and they were very diligent in what they came up with, and if there's any questions regarding reasoning, they'd be happy to address them that evening. Anything else?
I think it's a positive step.
Okay, call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye?
Scancarello, aye.
again,
Okay, so move. Next item is the New York State Planning Federation's 81st Annual Conference, taking place April 28th through the 30th at the Sagamore Resort in Lake George. Bonnie Franson cannot go, and she had suggested that Jeff Manson attend. What we'd be approving is the hotel for 2 nights at the Sagamore, which unbelievably is only $129 per night. So that comes to $258. The event registration is $220, and there will be meals there, with the exception of dinner for Sunday and Monday. So that'll probably be somewhere in the neighborhood of, I think it's $35
A day.
Right, with the
dinner.
a day
receipt.
for dinner,
Yeah.
and he's already been made aware he has to bring the receipts for that. And then he'll get reimbursement for 58 cents a mile on that. So I will tell you the total.
Well, that total he'll have to turn that in then.
No, I know that, but I'll tell you the total at most.
Any of the cars going to be available for him, the 2 cars?
I will check on that. That's a good idea, Rick.
So we got like 478.
So we
A
got,
couple hundred in mileage.
no, we have 578. 5608, right? So it's 218 in mileage.
Like 700.
228 and 129 is 5 carried 2. Is 2 carried 1. Yeah, so we're at about $825. So
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
I'll
Yeah.
second.
to not exceed $825.
I-
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm sorry. I forgot the meals. So I would say 950, just to be safe.
We'll
make it
1,000 even.
Well, I think 950 is a cushion. I put a cushion in there.
Okay.
So,
And if he takes the car, you'll still be safe.
yeah,
Right.
Okay.
so we'll find
Right.
out.
So 950.
You all right with that, Mike?
Yep.
Okay. So we had a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Oh, I made the motion, you second.
Okay. Any other questions? Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Again,
Okay. So moved. Okay.
before we segue out of new business, did you have something else in new business, Mr. Supervisor, or no? Or were you going out to 5.0? What were you, or 5.1?
Unless you had something under new business.
I do, that's what I'm asking you. Is there anything else? I just wanted to.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if you saw the email from Ben today about
Yeah.
Code
legislation
enforcement.
pending in Albany to make a assault upon a
Code enforcement
code
officer.
enforcement officer, building inspector, a Class C felony. So I think that we should, as a board, pass a resolution, have a resolution.
We'll draft a letter.
Yeah, and then pass that resolution and have it sent to Senator Skoufis and Bravnik, and someone in Bravnik who represent our
Okay.
town, and make it known to them that we support this bill, this measure, and so that's
Isn't
fine.
there something on the books already for public officials being assaulted?
Yeah, but it's not a Class D felony, right?
They've been adding to it every other year, or every year, I feel like, adding another person to the various chapters of Assault 2, Assault 3. So they, might not have a building inspector in the Assault 2.
Yeah, but if they just turn around and make it a public official that's duly appointed or elected, then
They're not concerned with all public officials being assaulted.
Sorry.
gee, thanks.
Especially councilmen.
Yeah, I kind of know about that, as well as public officials
Yeah, councilmen's like a violation.
and councilors.
So you're not going to do this for next time, or for tonight?
Well, I was going to ask you, Mr. Nugent, so should we pass a resolution and just ask for something,
Well, normally, if we're going to send something up to the state, you would have like the bill number and things to refer to so that they could, be aware of it.
right.
If we want to continue the meeting, I can see if I can look it up and possibly come back, or do you have it?
Yeah, I'll send it right over to you.
Okay, yeah, and then I can work on it while we're going through the agenda.
All right, thank you, sir.
Okay. All right, so,
Sorry to interrupt the.
no, that's okay. No, this is,
flow of the meeting.
it was a very good point, Councilman McGinn. Okay, into old business. Aaron Freed, who is actually present here this evening, he had written a letter back in January. He's a resident of town of Monroe for 6 years, and he wanted the opportunity to get involved on a board in a manner that he was familiar with, and he'd like to be appointed to the alternate position, one of the alternate positions of the zoning board of appeals for the town of Monroe. He has working knowledge in construction, and he's fairly familiar with local building code and zoning laws, and he would appreciate to start out as an alternate on the ZBA. So I will make that motion that the town board appoint Aaron Freed to the alternate position, one of the alternate positions on ZBA.
I would second that motion.
Any other discussion? Did you want to say anything, Aaron, or you're fine? Does anybody have any questions for him?
No, I had an opportunity to speak with him prior, so I was
Okay.
quite happy with his qualifications.
Thank you for stepping
Yeah.
up.
Thank you for stepping up, absolutely.
We need more of that in this town, and,
Yep.
thank you.
We appreciate it. Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
McGinn, aye.
Okay, so moved.
Thank you.
Thank you
Good
very
luck.
much, Aaron, appreciate it.
Supervisor Cordone,
Now,
for this.
what, one second there. What I need you to do is if, anytime during this week, if you could stop into my office, speak to Jennifer Schnars. She'll have you fill out paperwork. There's a couple ethics forms that you have to sign, and a disclosure form. So, all right?
Okay, so for the second alternate position, I know Myrna Chemnitz had sent a letter also several months back. I would like to nominate her for the second alternate position.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
Since we've been on this board, we've had a number of people that were previously elected that have requested. One was the open spot when supervisor got elected, and some of the positions on the planning board, and those people were people formerly from, or that were members of our party, and we declined them to do so because we thought it set a bad precedent to have people that were just that were previously in the town government, and now they're back again, or we kind of wanted to put a fresh stamp on this administration board going forward, and I felt that then and feel now that I think we're better off trying to find someone that is new to this, that is going to that might have some professional background in planning or zoning or something like that, engineering, like we got with our other applicants. So that's my personal feeling on it.
Anyone else?
Past experience is always good, and it's always a positive. Ms. Chemnitz has been involved in for a number of years as a county rep, understands the community, knows a lot about the community. I think as an alternate, it would give a new perspective. It's just an idea. I don't think it's a bad idea. I understand the point of view of, my fellow councilman, but I don't see that as a major issue. I think it would be a positive.
Anyone else? Okay, we'll call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, no.
Scancarello, no.
Again,
Okay, so Supervisor Cordone, we still have one more alternate spot available, so if you could just announce again that if there's anybody out there in the community that would like to try, we'll consider it, right?
Okay,
All
yep.
right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. And
Mary,
Mary.
no offense to you or Rick.
Absolutely
No,
not.
no.
Understand,
Right.
look, we always have our agreements and disagreements on this board. We don't make it overtake the discussion. Everybody, I think, does it from a positive perspective.
Right.
And I don't think that there's any need to say that, because I don't take anything, except some of your other comments about me. But I don't take that as an insult or as a negative.
And like you said, we've turned down people that,
We always have. You've made that point, and,
it's just.
you know, we are going to have these votes on that, so I don't mind.
No, I don't mind either, and the discussion was good. You understand our viewpoint and your viewpoint?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so discussion is good.
We're here to be working with each other, not fighting each other. As
I think we
previous.
work together real well.
Yeah, and disagreeing on an
Is not-
applicant
is
is not
not a-
fighting.
Is
so,
not fighting,
yeah.
no.
Right.
No, not at all.
Mr. Kosar said it well last week that he thought he was in the wrong meeting when he came here.
Yeah.
Having not been here since the last previous boards.
No torches and pitchforks.
Yep. Okay, next item on the old business, 5.2 zoning board of appeals fee schedule. Turn it over to Mary.
Okay, we had discussed, quite a few weeks back, I think about 4 weeks back, adding the ZBA or having the ZBA fees increased or changed. We had received something from the chairman, Mike Murphy. We had decided some of those fees we didn't think were appropriate. They were either too high. But one of the things that the secretary for the ZBA, Noreen, had researched was that some of the towns break their fees down into residential versus commercial. And residents naturally have smaller pocketbooks than commercial projects. So one of the ideas is that maybe as a board we can discuss, should the ZBA also in the town of Monroe consider breaking down the fees residential versus commercial. So there is a little spreadsheet in your packet. Let's see, it's the town of Monroe, town of Chester, village of Goshen, town of Warwick, and the village of Warwick that the spreadsheet includes. And you can see we had gone proposed from 250 to 600 for the town of Monroe, but like in the town of Chester, the village of Goshen, the town of Warwick, and the village of Warwick, they break theirs out for area variances into residential and commercial. Only the village of Warwick has the use variance broken down into residential and commercial. So I just wanted the board to discuss, is this an idea that maybe the town of Monroe ZBA should also pursue?
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I agree completely. As you may know, before when the fees were proposed, I had made mention of the fact that I had concerns over private individuals putting over that kind of money. And when it's resident versus commercial, the commercial aspect is usually a lot larger, much more involved, and should not be on the same standard. So I agree 100% with that.
Yeah, and this kind of came up with this came up basically when we were talking about the adopting the fee schedule and how someone that was, who previously was in a conforming lot was now non-conforming because how it was changed. And
Right.
they went before the board, they would wind up taking quite the hit before, So, I would, are we waiting to get something back from the,
Well,
from ZBA or do
well, no, we want to let the ZBA know that one of the reasons the town board didn't approve the prior proposed fees at 600, 600, 600 is now that we would like them to also consider breaking it out into residential versus commercial.
Absolutely.
So I'm willing to reach out to Mike Murphy, but I wanted a consensus of the board tonight. Is that something we would like our ZBA fees to reflect or not?
Absolutely.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so, and I think, I want to thank Noreen, because she's the one that did all the research on this, Noreen McSweeney, so.
Right.
Yeah, and that code interpretation fee is something else that should be looked at as part of this. And that should be broken down to commercial and non-commercial.
I agree as well, right?
Yeah.
Because a resident who doesn't know that, their
Yeah.
shed is going to be in the wrong place, you could be spending $500 for an interpretation, and your shed may only cost like $750 at
Right.
one of the
Right.
big box stores.
Usually
Yeah.
it's just a matter of, having the attorney render a quick decision decision based on his review of the zoning, so.
Exactly. All right, so I will reach out to Mike Murphy and let him know where our disagreement or discussion led tonight.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank
Mary.
you very much, Mary.
You're welcome.
All right. Item 6, public comment.
John Allegro?
Can I just pass a resolution on the, supporting the code enforcement?
Oh, okay, yeah,
change,
one sec,
and then
John,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Go with that. So I'll state the motion and someone can just adopt it, I guess, Councilman McGinn.
Yeah.
Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Monroe hereby expresses its support for the passage of Senate Bill S-8424 into law, which proposes to amend Section 120.05 of the New York State Penal Law by adding the title of Code Enforcement Officer to that provision, making it a Class D felony to cause physical injury to a code enforcement officer during the performance of his duties. And Section 2, that the town clerk is hereby directed to transmit a certified copy of this resolution to Senator James Skoufis.
I will make that motion, thank you, Mr. Lucci.
I'll second.
Question?
Go ahead.
You just put just to James, shouldn't it be also to the Assembly as well?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I think it's only a Senate bill at this point,
Oh, okay.
So
I
there's
just-
no
I didn't
Assembly
know,
bill.
that's all. Okay.
and we can send it to the Assemblyman if you'd like, anyway, just showing the support for the Senate version.
Right, maybe that'll give impetus to it. All right, I'm with that.
Okay, call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scangarello, aye.
Again, aye.
Okay, so moved. Okay, public comment.
John
Mr.
Allegro.
Allegro.
Thank you, John. Come on, George. Those days are over, George. John Allegro, Town of Monroe. Thanks for allowing me to speak. 5 years ago to the day, if today would have been the day of the meeting, there would have been a completely full house here. People on the left, in the middle, on the right, and we probably would have been here till about 12:31 in the morning.
3.
3, okay. Well, I wasn't privy to executive session, so, but, and the reason for that was because, we had a government that was pretty much at war with their constituents. Present company accepted, with the exclusion of present company, Mr. Cologne, and we were harassed, we were yelled at, we were filibustered and made to stay very late in the evening. And what I wanted to bring up was something that happened the second meeting of the year after the reorg meeting this year. I think it was January 14th. We had some people here who were concerned about a local issue and disagreed with a decision that the board had made. And there were some other people, such as myself, who disagreed with them. And we all spoke, and we had a very civil dialogue, and we were all respectful to each other, and we all walked away from the meeting feeling good. And this town board listened and actually made some changes to what they were moving forward with that issue. So it's amazing what just the changes that can occur in just a few years. And I wanted to recognize that, and I wanted to thank you all for really bringing some sanity into Monroe. And looks like we'll be out of here in about 15 minutes, so that's amazing too. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you,
John.
Appreciate it.
Ward Brower?
Ward Brower, private citizen. In relationship to the fees for the ZBA, as I brought the point up last time, grandfathering in that act, and I brought it up last year, but the answer I got was, we're looking into it. And that's the same as answer I got last year. And I know the much maligned former supervisor would have done a lot sooner, and all his predecessors that I'm aware of would have done it a lot sooner. Didn't take us that long to get rid of the security forces. Didn't take us that long to cut down the animal control officers. Didn't take us that long to get rid of the comptroller, but it's taken a year, and I'm getting the same answer. I think we should look into that, because it affects a lot of people. And whether you charge them a reduced rate or not, you made them non-conforming through no fault of their own. Should be addressed. And one other thing that's come to my attention, that probably 90% of people in this room, including the town board members, don't realize that the supervisor is not the chief executive officer of the town. He's really an administrator. He's a member of the legislature. Why I'm bringing it out? Because when we do budget, you look under, it's legislature, you have the council people. Then you look under for supervisors, under executive. It shouldn't be under the executive. It should be under the legislature, or put them under administrator, but not executive. We have an executive at the county level, at the governor level, and at the presidential level. Executive example, what they do, they don't vote on laws. They sign laws into being, or they veto them. That's the distinction. And most people don't realize. And it's because the position of the supervisor is such that when we have problems, we go to the supervisor. But he's not the executive officer. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Ward.
you, Ward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all that's signed up for public comment.
No one else? Anybody want to respond?
Well, we are still addressing that 40,000 square feet, and the ZBA making, like you said, Ward, about 90% of the town is non-conforming because of that change in acreage. I don't know why it wasn't originally grandfathered, but we are working on it. I know wheels are moving slowly, but we are working on it.
Yeah, I mean, any change to zoning after adopting a comp plan is a time-consuming process, and is something that's on our radar. I've told you so. We are working on it. I don't, I think comparing it to some of the other things that were done is a little. It's not a fair comparison, only because those things were actions taken by the board, and some of those took months, if not years, to complete. Also, none of those were short-term acts. I mean, I worked on the disbanding the DPS, and that was
A year.
an 8 to 10 month process.
About a year.
Doing that. So just it's a very different thing when you're changing zoning, and it's not something. And I mean, listen, I'm not going to talk ill of Mr. Doles. He's deceased now, but I don't think he had a real long, credible list of accomplishments that he, or things that he proposed that he carried through to completion. And I'm not going to detail those things, but we are working on it, and we will get it done.
Anybody else? Okay. Anything needed for executive session?
Attorney-client.
Yeah, attorney-client litigation.
Okay.
Okay. Go for it.
So I'll make a motion to go into executive session
Attorney-client.
for the attorney-client topic
I'll second
of
it.
litigation, pending litigation.
Cologne, second.
Call the question?
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarella, aye.
Again,
Okay, so moved. Okay, I'd like to make a motion to come out of executive attorney-client session back into our regular meeting.
I'll second that motion to come
Oh,
out.
You got to make the motion.
Oh,
I
I'll
made
make,
the motion.
Oh,
yeah.
you made the
I made the motion.
So you're going to second?
I'm going to
This big plug is
second.
in your ear,
Alright.
you can't hear.
What?
Call the question?
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarella, aye.
again,
Okay. There was no resolutions to be made
No action taken.
and no action taken, so I will make a motion to adjourn this meeting at 8:05.
I would like to second that at an all-time first.
Okay. Call the
I just
question.
have a 10-minute legal update.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Begin, aye.
Okay, so moved.